Hello and welcome back. I am Lord Revonworc. This is Spotlight. And the last few episodes of Spotlight have been FTL. I don't want Spotlight to just be me playing the same game repeatedly, so I'm moving on to a new game. And this week we are playing the Stanley Parable. Now, if you don't know what the Stanley Parable is, it's a very interesting, rather unique game. Actually started out as a Half-Life 2 mod. Anyways, it's not so much about gameplay, more about story, although there isn't too much. You know what, I should just stop talking and let the game speak for itself. It's very humorous, so long as you choose not to do what it says.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, I'm playing. Sorry, it's been a while since I've actually played this game. Anyways, this is the Stanley Parable. It's a very short game with very limited abilities, but
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Very interesting. So you've got a narrator and he's telling you what to do. Actually, you know what? I should stop talking. I've already played this game through. Like I said, it's very short. So I basically already know what's going to happen. I know all the different endings. Multiple endings, by the way, depending on how well you follow the narrator's directions. So I'm just gonna shut up and let you see what I mean.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The door on his left. Which way is left again? I think it's this way.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Okay, yes.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Yes, it's quite beautiful. Look at all these dark pictures on the wall.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Oh, I didn't even look at the chairs yet. Yes. They look very generic.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Hey, I resemble that. I mean, I resent that.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Sorry, needed to sneeze. Yeah, I don't think there's any more dialogue.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
But you get what I mean. First open door on my left. Left means this way, right?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Sorry, I just find this funny. Game's filled with a lot of pretty good humor, if I do say so myself. I think I'll make that the thumbnail.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Fuck you, you're not my real dad!
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Yes, I am powerful! Oh, wait a minute. So yeah. Whenever you reach one of the endings, the game automatically restarts so you can find all the other endings. Here's another one I like.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Yeah. The dialogue wasn't that funny, but the fact that you could find an ending simply by closing the door in your starting room, I always found humorous.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Yeah. Whatever, I just wanted to, see if I could... This next thing is rather tricky to do because you don't have the ability to jump. But, you know what, screw it. If you can go out these windows, you can get to a secret area. Whatever, just... Anyways, the point is, this game is basically about taking binary...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
binary dialogue options which lead off into branching directions and can allow you to find different endings. And there's a lot of neat stuff. Some of the
Yet
endings...
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Some of the endings are funny, some of them are strange, some of them are just plain...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Some of them are just plain weird, and you'll get a bunch of neat, funny little...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna show you a few more endings. Because I don't want to do a full playthrough of this. Honestly, a lot of the humor comes from some of the achievements, most of which I've already got. And you can find a full playthrough of this game on basically anywhere on YouTube.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I don't know, the door reading Escape looks pretty tantalizing.
Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh. That's too bad.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fun. Whoa. Weird. Anyways, I just restarted the game, and here's another interesting thing that can happen.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The game can spawn...
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Can spawn in with some really... Well, yeah. It can generate differently. It's not randomly generated, but there are a few different versions that can appear if you restart it several times.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So...
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Yeah.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Hello there, Mr. Broom Closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So let me just quickly...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean?
Oh.
Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
I'm sorry, I just absolutely love that. Needed to skip ahead a bit because I forgot what the actual code was.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Anyways, if you'll just give me a moment to go back, I would like to show you guys my favorite ending of the game, and then call this episode off. The best ending. What the? There's a phone ringing.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Okay. I've never seen that happen before. Of course, previously I only spent 2 hours on this game.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Hello there, Mr. Broom Closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No, I don't think he did. I mean, there's just too much stuff.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
What are you talking about? There's lots of stuff to be here. Duct tape, monkey wrenches...
It was
That?
baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way.
Oh,
As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
But there's plenty of stuff to interact with, like the door. See? Oh, God!
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
I'm dying!
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Yes, I'm here. Thankfully, I can resurrect myself. Okay, let's step out into the hallway.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Oh, is this a broom closet?
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Oh my god, did you find the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite. I love this game. So anyways, if you're interested in it, you can get it on Steam. I bought it for $15, probably still going for that much. Anyways, my cat is getting too annoying, so I should really cut this recording session off. So, I am Lord Revonworc, this has been great, and I will see you all later.